Very good
One
evening.
minute.
Can you start?
Yeah, we can go ahead, ma'am.
Perfect. A very warm welcome to one and all present here. Today we are going to inaugurate the very first episode of the conversation series on understanding Swami Vivekananda. It has been 125 years since Swami Vivekananda, a great dynamic youth leader, returned to India in February 1897 after his triumphant tour of the West. The main purpose of this initiative is to spread the call of Swami Vivekananda across the youth to build up a resurgent India. Swami Vivekananda, or Nare, as he was known in his pre-monastic days, was born to Vishwanath Datta and Bhuvaneshwari Devi in Calcutta. He had the build of an athlete, a resonant voice, and a brilliant intellect, and was an undisputed leader amongst his colleagues. His inborn tendency towards spirituality and his respect for ancient religious traditions and beliefs on one side, and his sharp intellect on the other side, made him question about the existence of God. At this juncture is when he remembered his professor's word to meet the great saint Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and Swamiji gradually surrendered himself to his master and became his staunch disciple. Swamiji traveled to America via China, Japan, and Canada and reached Chicago in 1893. There, to his dismay, he learned that the Parliament of Religions would not be held until September, and no one could be a delegate without credentials. Later, through Professor John Henry Wright of Harvard University, he received a letter of introduction to the chairman of the Parliament of Religions. On the 11th September 1893, Swamiji had to address nearly 7,000 people representing various religions from all corners of the world. Swamiji had never addressed such a huge crowd earlier. He at once began to address with the words Sisters and Brothers of America, which had immediately received a thunderous applause from the vast audience. All his subsequent speeches were listened to with great respect by everyone. Swamiji then returned to India in the year 1897 and sailed to Calcutta. There, Swamiji paid a touching tribute to his master by saying, If there has been anything achieved by me, by thoughts or words or deeds, if from my lips has ever fallen one word that has helped anyone in the world, I lay no claim to it, it was his. If this nation wants to raise, take my word for it, it will have to rally round his name. We are very happy to celebrate and inaugurate today's session to commemorate the 125 years of Swamiji's return to India from the West. Today we have with us Dr. Rupa Gunasilan, Director in charge and Professor Bhartiyar School of Management and Entrepreneur Development, Dean of Social Sciences, Bhartiyar University, Coimbatore. She has visited many countries such as Malaysia, Singapore, Dubai, etc., and is the recipient of many prestigious awards such as Best Citizen of India Award in 2009 by Best Citizen Publishing House, New Delhi, Dr. Radhakrishna Gold Medal Award for Excellence in Teaching, Tamil Nadu, International Outstanding Research Faculty Award by Association for Interdisciplinary India, and jointly by Mahasarakam University, University Sultan Zainal Abidin, and Kuwait University, and the list goes on. She is an ardent follower of Swami Vivekananda. Right from her childhood, all that she knows is Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Swami Vivekananda. Dr. Rupa Gunasilan has been inspired by the works of Swamiji, and she works very hard to spread the message of Swamiji to the students who is the youth of our nation. We welcome you, ma'am. We also have with us through M. Murali, Sri Krishna Sweets Chennai, who is well known for his philanthropic activities and always engages in doing good for the society. Sir, we seek your blessings today and request you to inaugurate today's session and deliver a few words.
Great, ma. Excellent initiative. I'm really proud about all of youth. இந்த தாட்ல இந்த டைமில் ஏதாவது பார்த்து சினிமாவை பார்த்துட்டு இருக்காம இதெல்லாம் பண்ணணும்னு தோணுனதுக்கு விவேகானந்தர் தான் அவங்க கூட உள்ளுக்குள்ளே உட்காந்துருக்காரு. ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமாக இருக்குது. மிஸ்அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் அண்ட் மிஸ்அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங். சுவாமி விவேகானந்தர்கிட்ட கேட்டாங்க, வாட் இஸ் த ரீசன் ஃபார் எவ்ரி மிஸ்அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங்? கூலாக ஒரு வார்த்தை சொல்லுவார். The reason is we see the people as we are, but not as they are. எவ்வளோ கிளியராக அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங்க்கு மிஸ்அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங்க்கு ஒரு டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் அவர் சொல்லிட்டு போயிட்டார். விவேகானந்தா அப்படின்னு சொன்னாலே உடம்பு இருக்குதுமா. எவ்வளோ பவர்! இந்த ஆஃப்டர் 125 இயர்ஸ்க்கு அப்புறமும் நம்ம அவர் நினச்சிட்டு இருக்கணும். அப்புறம் எவ்வளோ எனர்ஜி அவர் ஸ்ப்ரெட் பண்ணியிருக்கணும். ஹவு மச் he create the people, how much he evaluate to ஒரு லெவல்லேருந்து ஒரு லெவலுக்கு கொண்டு வந்திருக்கணும். This miracles has happened because of the faith he have in his Guru. Once faith is fully accepted, the miracles can happen. How can the faith come? Is because of surrender. Haripriya say, the surrender, that is the reason. Once he surrender 100% to his Guruji, everything miracles. I am happy to be a part of these things. 3 things I'm always, மூணு விஷயம் விவேகானந்த சுவாமி எனக்கு மேக்ஸிமம் கொடுத்த விஷயம். whenever I went to temple, I stand before Vivekananda, I say, please give divine power. Next I go to Paramahamsa and stay and say, please give divine wisdom. Then I can go to Amma and say, please give divine love. These 3 things is amazing. What is the divine power and power? It is nothing. நம்ம பவர்னு எதை நினைக்கிறோமோ அதில் ஒரு உண்மையை கொண்டு வந்து இதுதான் சத்தியம் அப்படின்னு கொண்டு வந்து காமிச்சது அவர் தான். Never say no. Never say I cannot. For you, infinity. All the power is within you. You can do anything. This is Vivekananda. நினச்சி பாருங்க, இது ஒரு வார்த்தை. ஆல் த பவர் இஸ் வித்தின் யூ. ஆல் த பவர் இஸ் வித்தின் யூ. ஆல் த பவர் இஸ் வித்தின் யூ. ஜஸ்ட் ரிப்பீட்டட் தட். யூ ஃபீல் த டிஃப்ரென்ஸ். பிகாஸ் I am not this body. I am not this body. I cannot control anything in my own body. என்னைக்கு எனக்கு முடி உழுகணும்னு நினைக்கிறோம் அன்னைக்கு உழுகும். I don't have any control on that. I am not this mind. I am not this mind. Mind is totally different. I cannot control my mind. If I have a sadhu, I may. At present, I cannot control my mind. So if I am not my body, I am not my mind, so ஏதோ ஒரு பவர் வித்தின் us இருக்குதானே செய்யுது. All the power is within you. You can do anything. You just think about this word now. All the power is within you. You can do anything. எதை சுமையை நினைக்கிறோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவார் ஒரு டைம். எதையும் பெரிய சுமையான்னு நினைக்கிறோம். உன்னை சுமக்கிற பூமியே உனக்கு கீழே காலடியில் கிடக்கிறப்போ எதை போய் நீ பெரிய சுமையான்னு நினைக்க முடியுமா? சின்ன சின்ன வார்த்தைகள். ஸோ பவர் இஸ் வித்தின் அஸ். விஸ்டம், டிவைன் விஸ்டம்ங்கிறது எதை நம்ம மண்டைக்குள்ளே யோசிக்காமல் ஹார்ட்ஃபுல்லாக நினைக்கிறோமோ அந்த யோசனை எல்லாமே சக்ஸஸ் ஆகும். அந்த விஸ்டம் தான் சுவாமிஜி சொன்னார். டிவைன் லவ். திங்க் பண்ணி பாருங்க. சாதாரண லவ்வுக்கும் இதுக்கும் உள்ள டிஃப்ரெண்ட். பியூரிட்டி ஆஃப் லவ் ஐ கேன் சே மதர்ஸ் லவ். எந்த விதமான எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷனும் இல்லாமல் பியோர் லவ் எதுன்னா மதர் லவ். பியோர் லவ் has no motive. It has nothing to gain. சுவாமி விவேகானந்தா. ஒரு பியோர் லவ் எங்கேருந்து வரும்? அன்னை முன்னாடி நின்னீங்கன்னா அந்த பிளெஸிங்ஸ் அப்படியே மேலே பாடிக்குள்ள அப்படியே உள்ளே போகும். நம்ம அந்தராத்மாவோடு அது கலக்கும். தட் மேக் a lot of difference. Pure love, divine wisdom, divine power. இது 3 நமக்குள்ளே வந்துச்சுனாலே the world is within you. தமிழில் சொல்லுவாங்க, அண்டத்தில் இருக்கிறது தான் பிண்டத்தில் இருக்குது. What is available in Prapancha, it is within you. Once you are going deep in with you, you can feel the Vivekananda, Rameshna Paramahamsa, or what any guru who make you different. Thank you, Ma. Thank you very much for the things. இந்த கான்செப்ட் ரொம்ப பிரமாதமான கான்செப்ட். Whenever you have a doubt, there is a platform to get the answer for that doubt. Amazing. நிறைய சில்ட்ரன்ஸுக்கு நிறைய யங்ஸ்டர்ஸ்க்கு நிறைய கொஸ்டின்ஸ் இருக்குது. ரூபா கூட சில மாதிரி மேடம்லாம் ஆன்சர்ஸ் அவங்களுக்குலாம் சொல்லி கொடுக்குறாங்க அப்படின்னா ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ்மா. இந்த இந்த விஷயம் ரொம்ப பெரிய மாற்றத்தை ஏற்படுத்தும். தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் ஆல் த பீப்புள்ஸ் டு பார்ட்டிசிபேட். என்னோட நமஸ்காரம். தேங்க்யூ வெரி மச்மா. தேங்க்யூ.
Thank you very much, sir, for always enlightening us with your wonderful words. Thank you very much once again. We all strongly believe that without the guidance from the monks of this order, it is impossible to understand Swami Vivekananda in a better way. We are now going to hear the benediction address by Swami Dharmishtanandaji, Manager Sri Ramakrishna Math, Chennai.
स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणि अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। तां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। Namaskar to all. அனைவருக்கு வணக்கம். Let's all pray to the Almighty for the good of all. அனைவரின் நலனுக்காகவும் இறைவனிடம் பிரார்த்தனை செய்வோம். ஓம் நமோ பகவதே ஸ்ரீ ராமகிருஷ்ணாய. Dear friends, Swami Vivekananda says, my children, work unto death, I am with you for the good of others. And when I am gone, my spirit will work with you. Arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. This is his thundering message to the nation. This word, arise, awake, which we hear in the promo video, Prasanti mentioning this quotation. Yes, he said, when I am gone, my spirit will work with you. That is true. Yes, today whatever we see, His Spirit is working through all of us. Undoubtedly, we should believe in it. Why he prayed in such a manner? I am with you always. Just to take our nation to a great height. That was his prayer. The whole India, hundreds of years of suffering under the foreign rulers. The Indian citizens, they have forgotten they are human beings. This was the situation during that period. Somehow we wanted our nation to come up well. Whenever India is in a good position, having the wealth of knowledge, also prosperity, it always shared with all other nations. That means whenever India is well, the whole world got benefited from Indian wealth and Indian spiritual wealth also. That's why he always wanted our nation to come up well. But degradation took place, but he infused life into the national channel. Our Mother India once again awoke with the call of Swamiji. But still he has given us some responsibility to follow. What are the things? He has given a lot of things, but still, for this occasion, just I want to share is one of the requests which he has placed before us. To make every individual, every nation, three things are necessary, he said. What are these? First, he says, we should have the conviction of the power in goodness. நல்லியல்பெறியின் ஆற்றலில் திட நம்பிக்கை. Whatever good I do, it will produce a good result. If I am good, the whole world around me also will be good. That conviction should have first. Second, he says, absence of jealousy and suspicion. See, this very vital. Swamiji says the downfall of India was you were jealous of each other. We never allowed other friends or other people to come up well. That dragged us down. So that jealousy should be banned. And we should not have any suspicion with any other things. பொறாமையும் சந்தேகமும் இருக்கக்கூடாது. This is the second thing he said. Third thing he says, help all who are trying to be and do good to others. See, whenever there is possibility of helping others, we should never miss it. Always try to help others who are trying to be good and to do good. This is call. நல்லது செய்ய விரும்பும் மக்கள் அனைவருக்கும் உதவ வேண்டும். With these things, the nation can definitely come to the great heights. The individual can become great. So, Swamiji's the whole message contains in these few sayings. Having these things, if we can understand Swamiji's the real meaning of his message and his call to the nation, definitely we will come up well. We will lead the world. For that, understanding Swamiji, we need this type of programs. I'm very happy with this Academy of Life Skill-Based Education for Human Excellence. Very nice title, very nice academy. It is trying to carry the Swamiji's message in different method. There are so many variety of channels, so many things are there, but this is a very unique and new method. Through this, definitely you will be able to reach more and more people. And with this aim, if you go march on, our nation within 5 years, we can say the great changes in every respect. So I'm very happy to be a part of this very magnetic and very dynamic youth of our nation. I hope you all will carry the Swamiji's message in right spirit, and millions and millions will join in your effort to rebuild the nation. So I thank all the people who are taking so much effort to bring this program a success, especially to Sri Murali ji, Krishna Sweets, and Shashi Purnima, Prasanti, and all other dignitaries who are taking part in this program, the people who are joining this program in years to come. So Swamiji says, those who work for the nation, their care will be taken by the Almighty. That's what we had seen during the freedom movement. With that aim, we should go forward. And it is few words I pray to the Almighty, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sarada, and Swami Vivekananda, to bless us and guide us in right direction, to be a good instrument in his message carrying. So Swamiji also says, never fear, go forward. I am with you. So he is with us, we should believe, and we are also with you. So I thank you all for the good program. May Swami Vivekananda bless and guide us. Jai Ram Krishna, Jai Vivekananda. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Swamiji, for your wishes and blessings on all of us. Without any further delay, let's get into today's session. We have with us two young facilitators from Albi Academy, Ms. Prashanti Vinod, Mr. Divyanshu Pandey, to converse with Dr. Rupa Gunasidan. Over to you guys.
Thank you, ma'am. In fact, myself and Divyanshu are really excited to converse with Rupa ma'am and to learn more and to as well give back to the society. So, Divyanshu, without any further ado, we can go ahead with the questions. So, over to Divyanshu.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, the audience has already got the first takeaway from the show that the power lies within you, and you can also achieve what seems to be unimaginable, what seems to be impossible. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you. It fills my heart with joy unspeakable when I take the stage to learn from one of the finest personalities who could help us today to walk along the road of the history as we celebrate the 125th year of return of Swami Vivekananda from his historic address at Chicago. Madam, as we go live today on YouTube with hundreds of households watching us, my first question to you is to let the youth of the 21st century know, to let the toddlers, to let the teenagers, to let the children of this century know who Swami Vivekananda was, about his life, about his deeds, his teachings, and above all, his message to the global fraternity and his capacity of a young ambassador who took India's culture to the Western world. Over to you, madam.
Yeah. Good evening to all of you, and my special mentioning and salutations to Murali sir and Swamiji, team of young ambassadors who are here, rising questions and looking forward for some meaningful and value additions from my speech. I'm really grateful and thankful to all of you. And this is a exceptional platform which gives access to meet hundreds and hundreds of students, and that itself is giving energy to me to go further. And uh, with respect to your question, I'm eagerly waiting to give the details to you. As you all know, the dream is still alive. Vivekananda Swamiji's dream is still alive. It was handed over to him by Paramahamsa Swamiji, and it was handled very effectively. The message is, go and tell to the world that that is something precious. The Advaita Vedanta is something precious that has to be spread around. Go and tell to east and west everywhere. And that was very effectively done by Swamiji through his travels, meeting people in the West. And he added one more mission to his goal. The mission is to make India more socially developed, to see Indians adapt to the preachings and teachings of the age-old traditions and culture, along with age-old traditions and culture, and make it prominent from among all the philosophies of this world. So that was very effectively, very beautifully handled by Swami Vivekananda. And his disciples followed it. That's why there are a lot of missions like Vidyalaya and all those places was established, educating youth, and still the a great noble job is going on and on, generations after generations, by a lot of sannyasis and Swamijis taking up the torch of light from him and spreading it across very, very beautifully. And we all know very well that a particular room is kept always available for Swami Vivekananda ji to come and make his presence spiritually. And there is a belief, a strong belief, as Swamiji in today's talk was telling, Vivekananda Swamiji is still living with us. People who believe in him actually believe in his presence also. Thank you. So the
Thank you,
connectivity is
madam.
going
You just
on and
mentioned
on.
that.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. You just mentioned that the connectivity is ongoing. It's ever going, I should say. And he is still among us. His ideas, even his soul finds utterance always in the day-to-day life. Ma'am, I like to draw your attention to my question, which is based on the same lines. Ma'am, I learned that you have traveled across the globe. You have got a vast experience in teaching, but you have also been to places like Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore. And ma'am, these are the places which have been actually the centers of meditation, centers of knowledge, historic centers of yoga, asanas, and if I properly use the term, adhyatma. So, ma'am, my first question to you is, ki having traveled across the globe, especially to places like Indonesia that I mentioned, which have been historic centers of learning, religion, thought process, what keeps you still very committed and rooted to the ideas and teachings of Swami Vivekananda in this very neo-populist and globalized world? Madam, kindly.
Um, yes, Divyanshu, the question is very, very relevant and apt. See, the point here is the societies which I visited, the countries which you mentioned, are all disciplined societies. There is no doubt about it. And it was impressive, actually, talking to those people of all those countries. Was very, very impressive. But one aspect is, wherever you go, I can understand our society culture is well enrooted, and we have something very special, which should be told to the world. The special touch comes from aspects like, um, when all other world look forward and look outside from within, we are trained to look from outside to within, and not from inside to outward. That contradiction is what is amazing. See, we always look from inside to outside. We are trained to know what we are actually. So that knowledge is something very special to Indian society, and our rishis and siddhas, gurumars, Swamijis are well known for such traveling inside, knowing our own self and getting our own strengths and making our personality more internal oriented, and making it strong day by day, and then facing the world and ruffles and tuffles of the world with our inner strength and inner power. So that is what is mentioned by Swami Vivekananda ji also in various speeches of his own self. He used to say, strength is power, fearless mind is a treasure, and wisdom is what one should gain over the period of time. The true wisdom is knowing that God is within you. See, all these messages are what we can see only in Indian society, and you can't see anywhere outside. So though there are practices like yoga and meditation, I could see the same is found in Eastern societies, as you said very rightly, in Indonesia, in Japan, in China, and various other parts, even in Malaysia, Singapore, and all those places. But we know India was pioneer in all this. It is practicing the same for centuries and centuries together. We can even say, when you look at Tamil literatures, it is like meditation. Davam is part of regular life, daily life of any individual, and that has created wisdom or inner strength that can directly make a person to get connected to the external forces, and get guidance from spiritual connectivity and all those. Lot of miracles happened in our society. The very existence of Swamijis and saints like Ramanuja and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and various other um, great saints, people made India, Vallalar Peruman of Tamil Nadu. See, all these people, all these saints, great people have given this kind of exceptional wisdom, which is not much taught in schools and colleges. But only when you understand what is going on in the spiritual world from true sense, you can really understand how these people um, were uh, preaching or getting the divine knowledge and spreading the same to the rest of the world. Thank you. So that
Ma'am,
is
this
what we
takes me
find
back to
this
my
special with our own country. Yeah, that is what I want to establish. People in other part of world also coming here and trying to get connected with any of ashram and Swamiji, so that they can really invade the same and get the experience of enlightening them spiritually. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, this takes me back to the reading of a book by Swami Vivekananda. It talked about his life. It especially talked about his address in Chicago, that the first step to enlightenment, the first step to gain wisdom lies in knowing yourself, lies in knowing who you are, why are you here? What's the purpose of you on this planet? Ma'am, it was very well addressed. I'm sure the audience has got something to take away from it. Ma'am, if I may ask on a very personal level, after so many years, when you look back, when you were a child and when you were grown up in that particular environment, ma'am, what Swamiji actually means to you, what the life of Swami Vivekananda actually means to you. If you could kindly throw some light on that, madam.
Swamiji is symbol of strength. If you say very simply, he is a symbol of strength, and he he is the best role model, I would say, to the generations which are coming next. Not that I'm ending up saying that he is best role model for the present generation. So his personality fits any particular generation, for that case, the generation which is going to come next and next, ever existing. Simply, we can say he is an ever existing role model and a personality to take. And from childhood, I heard a lot of stories, many life lessons of Swami Vivekananda ji. Some of them are really inspirational. I was much inspired, even amazed at some points of time when I heard he was not invited to the conference, conference conducted at Chicago, and he made up himself. He made up his mind to go and make a mark. When it was suggested by Raja of Ramnath to him, he didn't deny. He got that particular idea very strongly, decided to go, and he was not having much of resources to prepare for the travel, stay, nothing, but still he decided to go. So that faith, no, that faith in goodness is something amazing, and faith in his own spiritual knowledge is really amazing. So I really remember certain versions told to me at my young age. When he first visited Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and he was not having much of inclination towards Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. It was actually the Guruji got some inclination. It is something highly appreciable, because not to everyone, not to all the Gurumars get some inclination towards the upcoming disciple. So Guruji got some inclination towards Swami Vivekananda, and Guruji determined, Paramahamsa determined not to leave this little young man, because he is going to change the world. That kind of conformity he got at the first instance of their meeting. So that was the personality, that was the kind of curiosity, that was the kind of eagerness Swami Vivekananda ji expressed right at his young age. So there was also some incidences like he got a great humor nature in him. He is thoroughly humorous, is what I heard, which was really contradictory to my understanding on him. I had an image that he is a very serious person, and more of spiritual silence he used to practice. But actually, when he was in Dava meditation, he used to be silent even for days together. When he start talking, he talked to people with all his potential, and with all his humor that make people to cling to him for hours, days together. And that is how he actually attracted people. Thousands and thousands of people got attracted towards him, towards his preachings, and he was really engulfing the whole world with his spiritual knowledge and a humorous nature. Thank you. I have a lot to say, but I should confine myself. No.
No, ma'am. Please, the stage is yours.
Yeah. So I
Please.
also came to know that when he traveled to Chicago and he heard that the conference was postponed to September month, he had to spend some months together without much of resources in his hand. He decided to go for lectures on spiritual aspects in different colleges, institutions, and all those, raised fund, everything. See, at one point when he came back to Chicago, waiting for the conference, he was not having even a delegate invitation with him, and knowing no one in the city. Look at the challenges he faced. Who gets the boldness and fearless? That is his quality. He is absolutely fearless, and he was sitting on a platform looking for help, and all those was really. Uh, how can an young man who is having a lot to see in this world in terms of life, never mind about all those external pleasures, only minded about uh, the spiritual, spiritual being and spiritual life, that was really amazing. And he was helped by there was some mentioning in his one or two um, you know revelations, self revelations. George Honey was a person who helped him in getting the delegate um, uh, pass, and he got an entry into uh, the very popular conference, and he made uh, our country, um, very, very great. He made the country very great just by uttering sisters and brothers of America. See, that itself, that was end of everything. No one addressed in that way. So that was end of everything. He started talking about oneness of world without any hesitation, right? So when you say sisters and brothers of world, he is mentioning very clearly about all are from one source of birth. There is no division among people. There is no discrimination. There is no scope for any kind of discrimination. Just one single sentence made everything evident to people who were attending to it, and that was actually making everyone to rise up and put hands together, clapped for some few minutes, and then only the gathering allowed him to go further. So that was the kind of applause, the energy he was spreading. He didn't come back immediately. Look at that. He decided, there are people who are understanding our spiritual insights, and there are people who are thirst of such knowledge. He understood all those in his short stay in America, and he decided to continue living in America for another 2 years. And he made a lot of impressions, left a lot of legacies with them, and even now they are in search of modern Vivekanandas in India. Thank you very much.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, the anecdote that you just shared with us, that a mind without fear is just like a treasure. I think this is the message, or this is the learning that the youth of the contemporary India should very well realize. And we would be actually heading on to his message, his relevance, and his philosophies, the importance of his teachings in the life of the youth of a country which has the largest demographic dividend, the country which is the youth which has not played cricket on the ground but largely on cell phones and laptop screens, which has written emails, which has actually witnessed the history in making the artificial intelligence, machine learning, when cryptocurrency is becoming a new norm. I would like to request my fellow friend Prashanti Vinod to please take over and move ahead with the conversation and the interactive learning process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Divyanshu. The questions were fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Divyanshu. Ma'am, so when you were talking about it, I guess Divyanshu and myself, we definitely connect with Swamiji. As students of history, economics, and political science, Swamiji is one of the most powerful diplomat who represented India abroad. So thank you so much for bringing in all those. And this point of, having faith in oneself is something which we've been learning from the start of this session. All power is within you. You can do anything and everything. I guess I need to keep saying this every day so that I get energetic and work more and more towards myself and as well contributing towards the society. Ma'am, here is a question. In fact, the follow-up question from whatever we've been discussing now. Ma'am, now you are a responsible woman with so much of responsibilities that you have. How do you connect with Swamiji at this point of time?
See, as you were mentioning very rightly, right from my childbirth to my 18 years of age, I was brought up by Vidyalaya, Sri Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya, Periyanaikanpalayam in Quadras. And all the qualities of Swami Vivekananda was imbibed in me right from childhood. See, getting up early in the morning, going to bhajans and listening to Swamiji's preachings and meeting people talking very politely, humbly, respectfully. All these are taught to me in that very very noble environment wherein a lot of Swamijis used to reside and they give many talks. And I was really blessed to make my personality so much like Swami Vivekananda ji's preachings and teachings. And whatever left out, when I started facing the outside world after my 12th standard in college and all those, the qualities which I imbibed from Sri Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya helped me a lot to gain importance, even gain some applause. People like my teachers, even now I say my teachers remember me very well because even from college to PG college and all the places wherever I learned, they remember me very nicely. Even small aspects of mine are remembered and recollected and spared with me in a lofty tone always. All because I was really respecting them like anything, was taking up their visions and insights, catch up like anything. They remember it. She was nice, she was good, she was doing well. Such impressions I could make. All those are only because of the inputs I received from uh, the Vidyalaya environment. So my special gratitude, and always I remember that very nicely. Further to this, um, it is like way of life or uh, our own lifestyle, and responsibilities are heavy, and responsibilities grow day by day. That is the order of life. No, it will not deteriorate. It will grow day by day. Balancing between life and job is a challenge. Balancing between your life complications with your inner strength is a challenge. And balancing between generations, your generation thoughts and my generation thoughts always used to have some gap. Balancing that is also a challenge. And the revolutions which are happening outside, like as mentioned by Divyansh very correctly, machine learning, artificial intelligence, so much of developments are coming all around. Even this online platforms are being created and meeting people online without facing them directly, understanding them and talking or giving the points as they really want. All these are challenges. These are being balanced and taken up very nicely only because of the internal qualities, or I would say the personality which we carved over the period of time. So this personality is a boon given by Sri Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya to me. All the credits goes to Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya, I would say, because my father used to be busy taking sessions and moving with Swamijis and helping them in administrations and all those. We family used to be inside quarters and going around meeting people, listening to them, taking some clues from them, life clues from them, and making of understanding of what is good and what is bad, developing wisdom of life, I would say. All this happened as a natural uh, uh, walk of life. It's not that forcefully imbibed, it is naturally happened. So that is really a bless to me, a boon to me, which I carry with me throughout my life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this insights, ma'am.
So, yeah, to add one more,
Yes.
Swami Vivekananda ji was made known to us right from my young age. Whenever there is some prayer, we utter the nama of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Swami Vivekananda ji. Actually, after my 12th standard, I was in a different world. Even till now, I am in a different world. But what I really cherish is my uh, youth days, which I spent inside the Vidyalaya campus. To that extent, the wisdom of life as an essence uh, imbibed in me very strongly. Thank you.
I was just able to imagine how serene your entire childhood have been in the
Yeah,
campus,
yes.
in the ashram, in the mutt.
Yes,
That
yes,
was
yes.
great. Thank you so much for that insights. Over to Divyanshu.
Thank you so much, Prashanti. And right, serene is the right word. Spiritual is the right word. Madam, I like to borrow some of the points from your conversation. You mentioned that there lies a very fine line balance when you have to deal between two generations. There lies a very fine line balance when you have to deal with your workplace and your home. There lies a very fine line balance when you have to realize what's good and what's bad.
Yes,
Mom, I would like you to enlighten the youth of today, my school friends, my seniors, my juniors, my brothers and sisters who are younger to me and and those who are elder as guardians, that what actually is the fine line balance? Because what I wish to ask you is that, but before that, ma'am, if you allow, I'd like to bring in a observation that how Indian society, the Indian mass, is witnessing a slight division of thought, where one of the group advocates that material prosperity and the cutthroat level of competition is the normal way of living. The idea of pressure, the idea of stress, the idea of anxiety is a very normal way of living and a part of life, while the other group suffers to convince that trifles that we encounter every day or the small happenings that happen just by the course of nature are enough to bring happiness, peace of mind, solace, and prosperity in its true sense. Ma'am, where does the buck stops for the today's youth, and what is the right balance between the two, between the cutthroat competition and between the real idea of how to live? Because walking along the lines of both the extremes, any of the extreme shall be very fatal. So, where is that fine line balance, madam? Thank you.
I think you have come to the point. This is what actually we should talk very, very precisely. We should talk about. Um, I'm understanding the situation of yours. I can travel into your world, Prashanti and Divyanshu, very much, because I'm always living with students, no. So I used to tell them, don't have a bleak and confused look, because I know they have a lot of things to carry with them, stress, particularly because, very next day they have to face the world. As I was telling to you, after my 12th standard, when I came out of Vidyalaya quarters and started living in outside world, outside environment, it was really a cultural shock. It took a lot of time for me to um, get adapted to the external culture. The culture was totally different. Discipline was very much missing. The discipline which I was brought up and the discipline I found in external world, a lot of differences. So like that, young generation are having transfer or visualizing the transformations. Even with inside a home, they are actually not within the intimate zone, because the cell phones or televisions or the internet made them always in an open environment. They are in a social zone. They are not inside the intimate zone. As you all know, intimate zone, I mean, your immediate family gives you a lot of solace, gives you a lot of emotional support. When you got your social zone inside intimate zone, you can understand what is going on in every family. They are available to not available to anyone emotionally and psychologically. So that gap is gradually increasing. That disconnectivity within home, though they are available physically, mentally they are apart. That gap is slowly and gradually increasing. So it is the right time to give an alarm to the families. If we are very much for family, nature, family setups, right? We socially we believe in families, isn't it? Indian society is more interwoven with the family participations and families. So that bondage to be preserved, that family bondage should be preserved. When there was a shift um, from larger family to a nuclear family, right? So there were some disturbances we started facing. And now we are talking about a situation where though there is a family, but people in family are disconnected emotionally. So that is very dangerous. So we should do something to, rectify this gap and fill the gap accordingly. So this is one point I want to place in front to you all very strongly, because see that you are emotionally connected to your intimate family members, so that you have some solace and emotional patting and make you all right on daily basis. You should not accumulate the disappointments and sorrows or stress for days and days together to make you burst one day, which will be irreversible. We should not get into such situation. Every day unleashing of our stress or disappointments with the immediate family members and getting a pat and making you all right and emotionally strong is very, very, very important. My dear friends, my dear young ones, please take it as a strong message from me. Talk openly to your parents and immediate family members to get your emotional support and make you all right. So this is one point. Number two is the focus, right? Lot of sweet things are around and making you distracted. Lot of sweet things. When you look at an iPod, you got an wow feeling and you feel like getting it, right? So if you get a new mobile phone coming into the market, you try to get it. A lot of sweet things, apart from all these, many sweet things are made for you and presented to you by people around. And yes, that may become distractors. Beware of distractors is next strong message I would like to say. And the third message is even more strong, because never allow, nobody can make you feel inferior other than your own self, is one of the great message given by our Swamiji to the generations altogether. So never allow your uh, weaknesses to engulf you, to eat you upon. Look at your strengths, build on your strengths, and manage your weaknesses. I cannot say a personality will be free of any kind of weaknesses, but we should know to manage the weaknesses effectively and build on the strengths to make up our personality. See, one can be good at oration, another may be good at literary skills, yet another may be scientifically strong, one may be mathematically wizard. All these are strengths in each of the individuals. So that strengths to be identified. And there is one more thing. Never, as Swamiji was very rightly pointing out, don't be jealous, don't be meeker. All this was told by Swamiji, Swamiji Avargal, when Swamiji was giving an opening talk. I'm also for it. Don't ever get carried away by strong personality traits of somebody else, because you also have one with you. Everyone is எல்லா குழந்தையும் நல்ல குழந்தை தான் மண்ணில் பிறக்கையிலேன்னு சொல்ற மாதிரி, everyone is good, everyone is having some precious boon from the great birth. Abbayar used to say, மானிடராய் பிறப்பதே தவம்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க அபை பாட்டி. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி நம்ம பிறப்பு, our birth itself is a gift. In the birth, if we find what we are, it is another great gift. If we can build upon what we are and we can make a remarkable contribution out of our personality and our strong trait, it is yet another great impact we create in this world. And if we make somebody to take our traits by teaching them and contributing them and making them prepared to face this world, is yet another big impact which you are creating in this world. So these are all what should happen as an development of an individual from one level of wisdom to another level of wisdom. All that we need is, we should make ourselves more strong and highly inseparable from God day by day. So then only we can understand that we are also godly. See, that is what Advaita Vedanta is telling to the world. God is within you. Don't search for God outside. God is everywhere. God is in everyone. See, these are to be well thought and well taken into your personality, so that yes, you will be the one needed for this world to handle the mishaps and the complications of these societies and the world. I have strong faith, as Swamiji was telling us, any other Swamijis who all pray for the Almighty, the great Father of the whole world, the God Himself, the Lord, that this world should be free from all sins. So we, the young generation, we, the persons or personalities who have understood Advaita Vedanta, should know to tell the world or lead the world and make it spiritually strong and highly energized. So we are talking about spiritual regeneration, which is the dream of Swami Vivekananda ji, because spiritual regeneration, which was uttered in 1893 by our Swamiji and carried forward throughout his life, Until his last breath, he was talking about spiritual regeneration. That too, the regeneration should happen from India. So he was waiting for social development to happen, economic development to happen to India, so that India will lead the world and make world understand India has got a well established civilization existing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years altogether, and it has got every small drop of spiritual knowledge. And it is the only nation that has all the qualities to lead the world. And when I say the nation, it is all you, it is all the young people right in front of me who are listening to me. So you can do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. In fact, I was able to relate to what Swamiji used to say. All differences in this world are of degree and are not of kind, because oneness is the secret of everything. So, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the insights. So, we still have two more questions, but the one we were just discussing about Advaita Vedanta. So, Divyanshu, if you can go ahead with the question on Advaita Vedanta, it would be really great.
Yes, madam. Actually, if I sit with a diary today, right now, if I would have a page in front of me and a pencil, I would have actually
So
jot
there is
down at least.
also one second.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
ma'am, I was just reflecting on your on the address that you just made, ma'am. That if I would have a diary in front of me right now, I would have made at least 20 bullet points: social emancipation, religious upliftment. Everyone, it's good to have a hero, but everyone should have their own identity. The way to look at the world, the basic values like hatred kills. Hatred is a slow poison. Selfishness is a slow poison, ma'am. Actually what constitutes a human soul, like we all got to know about it. And since you brought in the idea of Advaita Vedanta, ma'am, and we have hundreds of households listening to us, we have so many of children, as you rightly mentioned, who would walk the road to the glory of this beautiful country, the country of an ancient civilization. Ma'am, if you could throw some more light on what the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta, as well as, ma'am, the philosophy of Vasudev Kutumbakam, which became evident, which became the starlight with his initial address at Chicago, Brothers and Sisters of America. Ma'am, I think that will be a great takeaway for all of us today. Ma'am, I will request you to kindly highlight on these two important philosophies. Thank you.
So really great. You know, um, I'm uh, I'm really what to say, delighted to talk about it, because in the opening talk, our Murali sir was telling, "Andathil ullathu pindathilum, pindathil ullathu andathilum." See, it's all about five senses and the five energies which was mentioned over there, right? So it is there in everyone, no? All that you find, in outside world, right? All the forms of energies, right, is within you also, right? Everyone has it. Everyone has it. That means what, whatever you find the godly sources is there in every individual. Emancipication varies. The level of you taking in the very nature of or understanding of the God in you is different. Different level. That difference is what is existing in everyone, but God is there in everyone. The way you understand, the way you perceive, the way you take in, right, certain thoughts and insights of God, as you yourself as God's incarnation is the variation. Otherwise, everyone is godly in nature. So it is your responsibility to to bring out that godly nature, right, and make it emanating. And what you find in yourself is there in the next door, is there in your friend, is there in your foe also, right? So, and the very nature, whatever is needed is you should know to identify, you should know to celebrate it, you should know to nurture and celebrate it, right? And you can make yourself as God, the great powerful God, by making you in such a way to make yourself as a great God. Your life is created for that very purpose, that should be the focus. There is body and atma, isn't it? Right? So if you think your body is you, it is your false. Body is not your good self. That is not your identity. The atma is your identity. Don't confine your body within atma within your body. You can expand your atma, even you can create the awareness and your presence and your existence possible throughout this world. You can bring the whole world into your atma and see the world. That is what Krishna Paramatma exhibited, told to this world, and he expressed it in his own divine way, right? So it makes a lot of difference. If you look at body as yourself, you are building limitations to yourself. So the limitations will be like your your senses and your karmendras and jnanendras. That becomes your limitation. You can't travel beyond that. You are putting your own limitation and making yourself, I'm able or capable only for this. But when you think beyond your body, when you realize that the atma is there and the atma is connected to every other atma, and there is a possibility of your own atma to become a godly atma, all those understanding, if you develop, then things are totally different. So that makes the spiritual power come handy to you and make everyone listen to you and believe you, understand you, accept you as somebody who is great. And even there are some, I want to link this thought to the sayings and preachings of Tamil Siddhas. They say the same, you are none but God himself, right? So don't search God outside. So there are 4 forms of worshipping, right? Sariyai, Kriyai, Yoga, and Jnana Margam. See, you have different margams of worship, right? Bhajans is one, right? Making a lot of offerings and, right, signs or some other, and chanting mantras continuously and celebrating the God himself, the very, form of very great form of God in an ideal manner is one form of worshipping. All this will lead to the end of the day, you'll realize that you are making yourself as a godly personality, right? Disciplining your senses is what is much needed. And you can't discipline your senses on one fine day. You have to do it on daily basis. You should make it as walk of life. You should meditate. You should make your senses come to your control. When you allow senses to go out of your control and cry that nothing is under your control, your body is not under your control, your senses are not under your control, and you are not under your control, then ultimately, and you'll break down, right? So there is some purpose for making all this available in the form of literatures, making or compelling you to read, take in the lessons, and make yourself more disciplined on daily basis, and make your senses coming to your control, and thereby manage your stress. Understand, right, your capabilities. Don't believe in limitations. So there is a book written by Shivkara. Even the recent modern world admires it. You can win. So it says that everyone can win over, right? So we can connect this message to the messages given by our Swami Vivekananda ji, very, very long back, centuries before. And our Rishimars and Siddhas, Swamijis of multiple, um, mats and shrines, they have given their thought in the same way. Don't carried away by limitations of your body. Your mind is very powerful. More than mind, your spirit is very, very powerful. You can make yourself God. You can dedicate your life in making yourself as God. Swami Ramanujam, right? Swami Raghavendra, Swami Vivekananda, Swami Nivedita, Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, all those are living a Buddha for that case, Swami. Buddha, all those are for that case live examples, role models for making a person godly by himself. So there is something which comes as sadhakam, practice. So such practices are needed on daily basis for years together. Then you can realize the potential. Right? Don't go and learn meditation for a week and say, I didn't get anything, I'm giving up. That is the kind of tendency I could see in the youth.
Mm-hmm.
You should dedicate. So that will really help you to balance the complications of outside world. I'm not telling that do dedication whole day and do nothing. That is not the message. Have meditation, have bringing your senses under control and bringing your thoughts under a focus, all this on daily basis for a small amount of time every day, dedicated for such purposes, either in the morning or in evening, and see the difference. You'll really enjoy it. You'll really appreciate what people like me say. And nobody is needed to advise you. You need no one to advise you. Your inner sense will guide you. The larger spiritual understanding will help you to lead yourself. Yeah, I think I have done it.
Thank you, ma'am. In fact, I've just made the bullet points, as Divyanshu was saying. I got to learn how infinite our spirit is, and how this Jivatma and the Paramatma, this Jivatma and the Paramatma is all the same. And it's all about looking within ourselves and becoming the better version of ourselves. Thank you so much, ma'am, for these insights. And we move on to the last question for today, Divyanshu.
Ma'am, the last question of today deals about our national struggle. And ma'am, we were talking how India is a very ancient civilization, a very beautiful civilization, and we all are actually the stakeholders of the same. We need to take a lot has been done, but we actually need to accomplish a lot more. And Swami Vivekananda's dreams is still alive, and perhaps still it has not met its commitment. Ma'am, my last question to you is that there have been so many leaders. If I name Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, or even Gandhi for that matter, and the list shall go on. Ma'am, they all have been inspired by Swami Vivekananda. And somewhere I believe that his ideas, his teachings were a very vital driving force in the course of the movement against British imperialism. Ma'am, would you like to kindly Ma'am, would you like to kindly let us all know, and would you kindly enlighten all of us on his role in freedom struggle, as in his teachings, his ideas. And if I may share my personal experience, ma'am, I believe that his teachings, his ideas, his life altogether were actually the solutions to the problems of those days, and are still the solutions to the problem of the contemporary world. So if you could kindly enlighten us on those lines, we shall be very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. See, Swami Vivekananda was living in two phases of life. One is he also know the free India, the samrajyams of Maharajas, he know, and he also know the uh, the slavery part of India. So he was really he had a very extremely painful inner self, and he took a lot of pity towards people of India for not being courage, for not being courage. And he was a spark to everyone. The fire in everyone was initiated by Swami Vivekananda ji. When he took courage in crossing the ocean and reaching a far east land, talking about our precious knowledge, wealth of knowledge to unknown society, therein creating sparks in people, right? So such efforts were made only to make people understand how bad it is to be, to be under the rulers of some third world, some new uh, set of people, right? So it is like, making, he said, give me 100 men, right? 100 young men, and I can change this world. To that extent, he developed faith in himself, strong belief that the present situation of slavery can be changed in no time. He believed in it. During his time, he made a lot of attempts to create the strength in people around him. When he had disciples, when there was a vacuum created by the death of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, right? He was identified as the leader to lead the disciples of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. All were young, same age group, right? He selected one person, I think he is Rakhil. He was selected as next to him and president of Ramakrishna Math. That responsibility was handed over to him. He don't want any crown or any position or any other particular recognition to himself. He felt he himself is um, a role model to carry with him, so that by traveling across the country he can imbibe a lot of fine messages to the young persons of this great country. He always mentioned his mother India, motherland, as the great country. Never underestimated the greatness of this great nation. He want to establish that very fact to the people of his own country, because he felt people during his time are not having much of faith and belief in the wealth of knowledge that has been created, that was created by the great motherland. He also believed that whatever other countries have, or whatever swindled, the wealth which was swindled by other countries, are simply wealth, material wealth. But what is not swindled, what cannot be swindled, is the knowledge wealth. He believed in that. that is the weapon he found as the weapon to fight against uh, the the slavery, and to make people realize that they are really something great, and they should realize that, and make a severe attempt in freeing them from foreign hands. So that only helped actually, inner strength which was built by Gandhiji, simplicity which was adopted by Gandhiji, and the fearlessness which is adopted by Subhash Chandra Bose, uh, and all other fine qualities in him was naturally found in all our freedom fighters, the leaders of those days, that made our country free at one point of time. There were a lot of manipulations. Many camouflaging happened at different dimensions. Even now we are talking about it, right? So we are not much aware of the facts. Facts were concealed and buried for ever and ever. So even now we are little much confused about what is fact and what is not fact. Though we got some evidences in our hand, we are still under confusions on certain things, right? So these are all the reality of life. So with this reality of life, on those days, even at least we are connected through various modes, through the medias, through internet. The whole world is in our hand. But still, even at this stage, when the information comes fatafat fast to our hands, we are understanding that yes, with these also we are not clear with what actually happened. And you can imagine the days in which Swami Vivekananda was living and all other freedom fighters, the great leaders, were living. They were disconnected with the communication limitations, right? The devices were not there. They were totally disconnected, but they were spiritually connected. They were talking to their minds. When they say that, we can't believe actually. When there were some spiritual leaders written about, when they thought of a person, the person started traveling towards them and met them, and all those, they are actually connected by mind. They were talking to each other um, mindfully. These are all were some miracles or amazing examples we read in our literatures, and still under a surprise to believe or not to believe. Yes, so such was the time where no communications were effectively could made. That there were no much of devices and all those. They were having like-mindedness. They were having a lot of uh, fine qualities and traits. Similar, I would say, and that all were taken from uh, great spirits like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Swami Vivekananda ji kind of people. We can even say Swamiji become a warrior. When such situations were not there, he would have developed himself as a great spiritual personality, and would have merged with God through his meditation skills and you know uh, other fine spiritual qualities. But he was made to fight for the freedom of India, made to fight for people of India to develop strength and gain prominence in the world, and to become economically and socially strong. He was even merged with the sufferings of Indian population, and made himself as a sacrificing personality to make India all right in all respects. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, indeed, when you said that he took a form of a warrior in a certain part of his life and in the certain phase of history. Indeed, it is true, ma'am. We took a lot of your time. We had a very great conversation. But ma'am, a very slight request, a very humble request from we students, and I'm sure it will be the perhaps the best takeaway from today's session, ma'am. Undoubted is the fact that a student and a teacher can change the world, and so was the thing with Ramakrishna Paramhans, that he did not leave a young chap to rule the way of his life. Rather, he sought something in it. He sought the spirit. And I remember a quote, ma'am, that a teacher knows the subject, but a teacher better knows his disciple. So if you could, since you're a teacher, you have such a vast experience, you teach management, you have traveled the globe, you have such a vast experience, you are a lot into academia, ma'am. What is your message to the youth of India, youth of today, and all of us who are connected to you through the online medium? What is that
One
one
simple,
message that you would like to
yeah,
give to
one
all?
simple message in one word, I would say, um, catch up the wealth of the nation, the knowledge wealth of nation, abundantly available, and it is your duty to bring it back to the world and make India spiritually regenerated, and making India spiritual, gain her spiritual leadership. So it's in your hands. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Prashanti, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That rightly points out that knowledge is power, and India is on its way of becoming a Vishwaguru again. Thank you so much for joining amidst your busy schedule, ma'am.
Yeah, yes.
I'm
One
sure
more
that
thing I want to tell. Our ancient world used to be, all our economic, social development was made revolving around the spiritual epitome, the temples. So such world should be reinstalled, and that power is only with you, young generation. Please catch up and make it possible. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm sure that myself and Divyanshu, we had an amazing learning experience. I've made notes, and I'm sure that I'm going to try to learn from each and every point and implement one by one, one at a time every day, and become a better version of myself. And of course, to everyone who's watching this, thank you so much for joining, ma'am. And the next week, next Sunday, we will have Dr. V.V. Subramaniam sir, who is known as Vavi fondly. He was the former principal of Vivekananda College, Chennai, and he has around 40 plus years of experience in reading and learning from Vivekananda literature. And we are very much excited for that session as well. And see you all next Sunday. Jai Ram Krishna, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji. Namashri Yatirajaya, Vivekananda Suraye, Satchit Sukha Swarupaya, Swamine Tabhare. Namaskar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.